Hey Harsha, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, we start. Hi,
Awesome.
good morning, everyone. I while Harsha is best suited to introduce himself, I'll make an attempt to introduce him in whatever capacity or whatever knowledge I have. Harsha is perhaps the best robotics mind in India. He's been working with Indian Armed Forces amongst many other organizations and have created robots to defuse bombs, to train Navy SEALs, as we call them as, and so on and so forth. He also teaches a lot of students about robotics. He is an ex Microsoft robotics lead, used to work in US, now runs a successful, I will not call it a startup, now runs a successful enterprise out of Mysore. You guys should look him up on holosuit.com. While he'll tell you more about what Holosuit does, it's a fantastic bodysuit that he has built. He works with a lot of sports people. He works with sports authorities, including BCCI, Golfing Association, and so on and so forth. So I think, Harsha, I can't do much more than this, the introduction. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really humbled by your introduction. Thank you for providing this opportunity. I'm really looking forward. I think, especially with the national education policy being released, it's an exciting time for us to really change the way education happens in India. And let me just get started with why this is a big problem, right? So if you look at where the jobs are, I mean, there are so many, I mean, students who are like trying to find out where to find the opportunities. And it looks like a lot of people, after they graduate, they're neither in employment nor in education because they have chosen the wrong fields. So my endeavor has been to kind of get as many people throughout India and hopefully throughout the world to kind of get into AI, VR, robotics, so that that is where the jobs are. This is not me saying, this is the finance minister saying, right? So this is something that is a huge opportunity. And the other counterpart of this opportunity is there are a lot of robots being built who also need to be skilled. And who better to skill the robots than humans? So humans and robots can actually skill each other. And this is my background. Me and my wife kind of started a Holosuit. And previously, while I was at Microsoft, my robots were being used by President Obama, by Google CEO Sundar Pichai, and even Stanford professors. And I have a couple of patents in all these areas, about 44 patents in total. And this is our team, like the Stanford professor who founded their VR lab. We have the Disney guys, we have the technical head of India, we have neuroscientists, we have like Olympics coaches, Rana Daggubati Bahubila villain. So all these people, of course, we have Yuvraj Singh as the brand ambassador. And what is it that like, why are so many people like interested in AI, robotics, AR, VR, right? So let me kind of take a step back and show where it kind of started. So I was in US. And
Anand, for the first time ever on Indian television, we have a startup which is going to be presented to the Indian Prime Minister tomorrow. We have with us Harsha and Kavita. And Natasha, isn't this amazing? Kavita Krishnaswamy is in Washington, D.C., and she's virtually right here. She can move, she can walk, and she's differently able. But she's moving and talking, and she's going to be there at the SAP Center tomorrow as well via this very startup. It's almost like a new version of a hologram, Ash, and it also makes me feel like I'm in a Star Wars film of some sort. In fact, you are the point. That's why he's visiting Silicon Valley, so he can replicate some of the success and that innovation and that entrepreneurship back in India too. Absolutely. So yes, that is why I'm planning to move to India, to my hometown, Mysore, Karnataka, and do research from there. So in the near future, I'm actually, as part of Make in India campaign, I'm thinking of
so basically, that's how it all started. Like our honorable prime minister came to US, and there was a person with a disability who wanted to meet him, but he could not. But through my robots, I was able to get her to come and attend it 3,500 miles away. And so if you think about what is happening in the world, right, like how are we, like in my generation we were all couch potatoes, we were watching like TV all the time, and then next generation kind of mobile phones came in and we became slouch potatoes. And now with virtual reality and other things coming along, is there is a danger that we just become ouch potatoes, right? So we just put on this headset and start bumping into each other. How do we make sure this does not happen? So that is why I thought, okay, let us create a technology which actually helps skill people rather than get make them addicted. So just quickly play a video here.
Introducing HoloSuit, which virtualizes your entire body and allows you to interact with the 3D spaces around you naturally by touching the nearby objects, pointing to the faraway objects, and feeling those objects through the haptic feedback. Similar to how capacitive touch changed the way you interacted with the 2D screens, HoloSuit will cause a paradigm change in the way you interact with the 3D spaces.
HoloSuit captures your entire body motion, including fingers, head, and foot, and can transfer it to an avatar or robot in real time. This allows humans to operate humanoid robots, leveraging the same tools which are built for humans in firefighting, nuclear disaster, hostage rescue situations. HoloSuit replaces expensive physical simulators for defense equipment like submarine, fighter jets with virtual training environments where you can get trained either through HoloSuit AI or by remote real trainers wearing HoloSuit who are sharing the same virtual space. This allows your body's muscle memory to be fully trained by operating in the same physical space and getting real-time feedback for virtual interactions through haptic exciters. HoloSuit comes with options for 26 or 36 embedded sensors and 9 haptic exciters distributed across both arms, legs, and all 10 fingers combined with 6 embedded buttons. You can combine HoloSuit body motion with facial tracking features of smartphone and create full-fledged animations.
So there are a lot of things that we can actually do with these type of technologies, but the opportunities, what I want to focus on is where are the opportunities? There are so many opportunities of using AI in robotics, AR, VR, and HoloSuit in healthcare, in entertainment and gaming, in sports, in military, in the robotics training itself in terms of building these industrial robots, industrial training, and of course, my favorite one is the education. And so why are we the best suited for kind of like, why is India the best suited, right? So you might be surprised to know that we have been actually selected for the $10 million challenge worldwide to basically build a humanoid robot and control it through the human body, right? I mean, this is like one of my biggest things was I actually attended a couple of DARPA challenges and all where I did not see a single Indian team. So I said, okay, let us kind of create an Indian robotics team which can not only participate, but which can go on and win challenges worldwide. And so if you see, we are also establishing a lot of like centers where the idea here is to create robotics like excellences around India, where students can actually go and like learn everything about robotics. So Indian Army, in fact, was instrumental. They selected us as one of the most innovative startups and showcased us to the Honorable Prime Minister of India again, wherein this is when after I came back to India, this is in Defense Expo, where now humans and robots can actually work together, where the idea is how can, like, there's a lot of fear that robots are going to take away the jobs, but what I wanted to show was that using humans, robots can become much better. So for example, here I am actually virtually shaking the hands of Honorable Prime Minister of India using the robot, right? So I'm controlling it through my body using the HoloSuit. So similarly, like there are opportunities of how does a robot work, right? So robot has like eyes, it has ears, it has hands, it has legs. So let us first take up the eyes, right? So if you look at a robot over here, as it is moving around, you can actually see how it is looking. So we are looking at this robot like this, but the robot is only seeing the edges, where exactly um, the obstacles are. And the best part is, if you put a different type of eye, robots can have different types of eyes. So for example, it can put a 2D eye or a 3D eye. So now we have put a 3D eye on the robot. And when you have, this is similar to how the Google self-driving car works, right? So then you will actually start seeing the world in 3D. You can also put like a Kinect, which is like, which actually gives you the similar eyes as the human eye, wherein it will show you the color data as well as the depth data, because we have something called stereo vision. So using these, what we can do. So this is a robot that I built at Microsoft, which can basically act as a robotic pet. It can autonomously go around, build maps of the world, navigate, talk to people, figure out where they are just by their sound, right? Just like Shabdavedi. So this type of robot is going to be very, very useful in terms of engaging like and exciting people around the world, and even building the map, going to a particular place. For example, if you're throwing up a party, it would actually take pictures and videos and automatically post them, and it can play with your guests. And similarly, especially agriculture is a huge field, wherein what we are kind of creating is like, we can have humans controlling real or virtual robots and learning how to drive a tractor, right? So like when you want to learn something, you can learn things. James, thank you for the feedback. So the idea here is how I am a big fan of James Bond, like Not 7 and things like that. I'm very much interested, and also of course Iron Man. I mean, all of these things. What we want to do is, how can we actually create next generation of people? I call them like holomen, right? Just like X-Men, these holomen use the power of holography and holographic robots to actually solve a lot of real world problems. So it's not just in like the virtual world, you can also bring the virtual devices into the real world. So for example, here is a tractor that we have brought, and we are controlling it in the real world using the holosuit. So imagine if your teacher can actually teach using these type of tools, where anything which we want to like learn in 3D, you can actually know, because you'll be able to go around, move things around, see it using your own mobile phone. And there are various ways in which the education system itself can completely change. So you can see this is a virtual tractor. I don't know whether you can make out that the virtual tractor which is actually superimposed on the real one. Similarly, we can actually be flying real drones or virtual drones, controlling them through our body. Like we will feel like we are in a different world. So we can go, and many of our farmers, we can help them kind of figure out, okay, how is the crop doing? Like, are there any pesticides that we need to apply? Like, is the water too low? What is happening? Is there some pests which are coming into the farm? Everything can be done. Similarly, we can actually fly drones into underneath volcanoes and learn about geology. And we can even go there, because through the VR and holosuit, we can actually drive these things. So the next thing is, we can actually bring the robots right to our house and actually start building them. So this is just using your mobile phone. We have enabled the technologies, and this is what I really want to do, wherein, because building these real robots is very expensive for people. Most of the students will not be able to afford it, but most of the students right now have mobile phones in their own house. So we have enabled them to actually start building these humanoid robots. This is the same robot that you saw me controlling using the holosuit, right? So now you can build that robot in your own home, and not just you build them, you can actually now go and start operating these like virtual robots in the real world. So in your own home now, you can actually start flying the drones, and you can even have races, drone races, just like podcast races with your friends, right? Just like in Star Wars, they had these races, right? So the idea is, how can we make it so exciting for the students and for the teachers, so that it should be so much fun, they would not even know they are learning, right? So this is again in like Big B, where I think the my robot was used by, instead of phone a friend, they basically had they use this robot to bring the friend himself on a robot. So usually there are 10 avatars, right, in Hindu mythology, but this is like the 11th avatar. So I call this Narayantra Manav avatar, 11th avatar, right? Humans and robots. Robots would be meeting Shah Rukh Khan, would be meeting Google CEO Sundar Pichai, would be meeting like all these celebrities. Like even I had the opportunity to meet Aishwarya Rai as well. So this is a robot which we are using to teach chess in Mysore actually. So coaches can actually come and start teaching, and this is a whole different type of AI. And the same robot now in CES, where this is 17 feet robot. So now we can truly say like the robots are going to rule the world, right? Because like if you can use a robot like this, like you can kind of go anywhere. Especially our politicians, I think, would love to use these type of robots in all their speeches. But the nice thing is like these type of robots can also be used, this type of AI can be used in the sports technology to significantly help the cricketers kind of learn how to play cricket. Similarly, it can be used by the in the film industry. So this is a film producer who is using my robot to now have it automatically following him around. So as it follows him around, the beauty of this is that the person here is like not really kind of the movement is very smooth, right? So you might have all seen Gravity movie. So Gravity movie was actually done using a robot. So similarly, this is another robot that I built, which can actually
Studio 4 and the Eddie robot from Parallax. Eddie is based on the Robotics Developer Studio 4 reference hardware platform. Our previous robot example applications included Connect Remote, using gestures to control a robot remotely. Party Photographer, a robot capable of finding people and taking their pictures. And Pet Companion, a robot equipped with a ball launcher and retrieval arm, a treat dispenser, and two-way video communications for playing with your pets when you're away from the house. Harsha Kakari is a software developer.
Come on, Butler. So wouldn't it be cool to have like a robotic butler at your house, which can basically go around and serve drinks like to your friends? And here, even adults become kids now. Like you can see, like the I built this robot which also has a neck. So if you see the robots, the idea here is like we are very much interested in building robots which kind of actually help humans and also are able to learn from humans. So this is another person who is totally disabled, but through robots, he's able to actually take a walk with his wife and move around and almost live a very, very kind of interesting life. So this is another person who's who can only move his eyes. So we have created like an eye tracker, and just by tracking his eyes, he's able to drive this robot around, and he's able to kind of even virtually, you might have all seen Stephen Hawking, right? Stephen Hawking, he could only move with his own like wheelchair, but this person can actually control robots anywhere in the world. Similarly, like I think there are robots which are now like available, which can actually go and kind of allow you to even like climb on stairs, right? And the best part is like these type of robots are actually like we can easily do them. I know the guy who actually built this robot, and we should be able to kind of bring and build these type of robots in India and help a lot of our people with disability. So this is another type of AI robot which I built, which basically looks at what humans are doing. So here, if you see, the robot is basically looking at the humans will just show the robot what to do. They'll just go, and this is for bagel baking, right? So they'll just go and show, okay, this is how you move the bagels. The robot observes it and it writes the code itself. So it will say, oh, this is what the human wanted to do, and then it will start executing that code. So you can have a robotic cook in your home, and similarly, you can also have a robotic person, like a robotic homework writer, right? So this is a robot that I made it so that it can actually write your homework at home. Similarly, that was a very expensive robot, but through 3D printing and other technologies, we were able to reduce the cost of it just to about 2 lakh rupees, right? So that was more than 1.5 crores. So there are a lot of these type of technologies that we are kind of teaching throughout India. A lot of schools, a lot of universities are adopting these type of things. So for example, this is a coffee making like a robot, right? So how do we kind of teach a robot to make coffee? We just show it how to make coffee, it learns it, it writes the code itself, and it starts making coffee. So at the end, you will see that coffee is kind of being made, right? So similarly, this is a robot where we can actually control this robot through our hands. So as we move our hands, you can actually make the robot play chess. And this is like this is one of the challenges which I was saying, the humanoid robot challenge, which I was referring to earlier, where we can have like a robot which can actually drive like a vehicle, and this robot can be completely controlled by the HoloSuit, right? Because HoloSuit tracks all your body movements. So in fact, we did something like this for where we controlled a robot in Texas from Mysore. So in fact, I was having a lab, a large lab in Silicon Valley with lots of robots, which I was completely controlling from Mysore only. So one of the first students I trained actually went to MIT. The second one, I trained him from PUC. He went to Berkeley. The third student, he was actually studying in US. He came to Mysore to do his internship. So hopefully, like with all these educational policy changes, we can actually have people coming from US and other countries to India so that they can study here. So this is an example of how we can actually teach a robot to perform any action, right? So where this is like you can even control your fingers, you can control its head, you can make it speak, you can make it walk. So wouldn't it be cool to have these type of robots? So this is another robot which we are helping a person with a disability. We are helping doctors to learn how to do surgery. Similarly, we are helping in telemedicine. So there are 3 types of things which we can do, like computerized content or mobile-based self-learning or extended reality-based practical laboratories, right? So that's about it. I just wanted to kind of show you some of the possibilities. So this is my email ID if you're interested in like looking up. But there are lots of exciting things which can actually happen through robotics. So this is another humanoid robot which actually can go and it can get down, and look at how cool this is, right? So this robot, the beauty of this is they have kind of designed the legs in a special way, in such a way that it can, there are 4 legs, but these are wheeled legs, right? So using wheeled legs, it can actually go in and it can perform a lot of different operations, but it also has stability. So it is able to go and kind of manipulate things. So this was for the disaster recovery. So our aim is that we have so many people who are actually in like who can solve real world problems. So we call them HoloMen, right? So the idea is there are so many kids who are falling into borewell. Can we design a robot which can automatically go and pick up these kids and help rescue them? Similarly, there are like so many use cases in which wherein for COVID, we need like robots which can actually help take the patient's like temperature, right? So we can create like nurse robots. So this is another robot that CMU did, which basically kind of so you can see some of these like robots are very bulky, some of them are very small, some of them are humanoid, some of them can be like a dog. So lots of different types of robots we can build, and the best part is all of this can actually be built first in our we are creating a virtual simulation so that you can build it in your own house using your own mobile phone, and then kind of learn everything, and then you can actually go and if you have the money, you can buy some of the parts and build it in the real world. So similarly, like this is another robot which you can see it is even putting the gears on to the motorcycle that it is driving, onto the jeep that it is driving, and you can see like it has these components. This is a lidar, so it has a spinning lidar, it has arms, it has legs, and designing each one of them is a challenge, but it is fun because especially if you start building humanoid robots, then whatever the humans, the whole world is actually built for humans to operate on, right? So if you build special purpose robots, the problem is that like you will need lot of like hundreds of thousands of different types of robots. But if you just build a robot which looks like a human, all these kind of things can be done. So there is a question, I think, how can a robot learn by itself on seeing what kind of programming being done in them? Yes, so that is the technology that I developed along with my colleagues at Microsoft, where the idea is how does a kid learn, right? So you show it, oh, okay, this is how you kind of do something, right? And then the kid sees it and he has the AI. That is the true AI. See, currently what people are talking about AI, I would call it like a plant level AI, right? It is very rudimentary. What we really need is like a human level AI. What is the difference between a plant level AI and a human level AI? A plant level AI is something where you just have some cameras, they're just seeing, they're static, right? Just like a plant is static, this AI is very static, very, very old. But the new AI which we are developing here is going to be such that you can actually have movement. Your eyes, you have not just the eyes, but the eyes are movable. Plus, you have arms, you have legs, so you can go around, explore the environment, and actively learn more about it. Right now, the AI is very passive, but with this type of robots, we can actually create active AI which goes and perform different things and learns about the environment. So that's about it. I just wanted to kind of make sure that I finish in time. So thank you for attending this, and hopefully I look forward to having a lot of you take up careers in robotics and have fun. Thanks a lot, Rohit and Incubate India and your team for inviting me and providing me this opportunity.
Thank you, Harsha. Thank you for being there. There's one question that I want you to address. I've
Yes.
just sent you. Ansh Raj Kaushal asks, how does the robot convert the human work to machine language?
Yes. So robots, like basically when they hear, like how do we convert it, right? So basically what happens is like they have something called transducers, so the microphone. So when they hear the sound gets translated into numbers, zeros and ones, and those numbers are processed where similar to how human like have these neural networks, so we create artificial neural networks, and those artificial neural networks kind of look at all this sound data which is coming in, and it starts figuring out what does a sound mean. So for example, if I am saying follow me, right? So when I say follow, that means it is creating a specific waveform, and when I say me, that is creating another type of waveform. So it learns to kind of parse these waveforms and convert them into words. And then once it gets them into words, it has to actually interpret these words in the context, right? So where you are, what you are doing, what does me mean? So follow means something, right? So it also has to take referential information into mind. It is that, oh, follow me means like, okay, this person is referring to himself. So using these techniques, it is able to kind of convert like a human speech to something that it can understand, and then it will start rotating its motors and starts following you around, right? So that is how this happens. So it kind of uh, it has an artificial neural network which similar to our brain.
My last question before you leave, Harsha, I know you will be hard pressed for time. What are the three things or five things that these young change makers of the country should practice, should work upon for better futures in robotics and overall?
So, like there are three aspects in robotics. So let me just, if you do, I have like just one more moment. I mean, like if I
No,
can
no,
get to.
absolutely. You have 5 more minutes.
Okay, 5 more minutes. Excellent, excellent. So let me just share something else, which I think because you brought this very important point, I wanted to kind of make sure that this is addressed properly. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen now. So there are three important things which are required. So one is they have to understand mechanics, right? Mechanical construction. So for example, here we are allowing students to actually understand how different parts fit together in the spatial domain, right? So this is an Arduino board. I mean, most people are familiar, but the important thing is how are the different objects connected to each other. So mechanical thing. So what does mechanics mean? It means it corresponds to your bones, right? So if you look at a human, if you want to kind of replicate like biology, right? So bones correspond to the mechanical side. So the first thing they need to learn is the mechanics. So how does mechanical engineering and mechanical science, how do things fit together? What are the different types of material? Like, why do I need to put rubber on the wheels? Why do I need to put like a roller? So those type of things, right? The mechanics of it. And mechanics includes physics, chemistry as well, because if you understand mechanics, then to be able to do something, you need like the physics and chemistry knowledge as well. Now comes the electronics and electrical. What do they correspond to? They correspond to the nerves in our body. So what do the nerves do? The nerves basically convey the information to the different bones so that they can move them around. So it also gets the feedback from the body saying that, oh, there is a pain here, you got hurt somewhere. So the second thing to learn is electrical and electronics, right? So to understand how the circuits are made. The third thing and the most important thing is, now that you have kind of built this body up, building the brain, the code which kind of shows you how to control these things that you have built, the mechanical body and the electrical connections that you have built. How do you control and simulate? So for example, here we are showing how once you have built it, like you'll be able to even simulate and change around, right? The thing is, if somebody shows you one way of doing it, figure out at least 3 4 different ways of doing the same thing. And one of the interesting thing is, how do you learn programming, right? So this is another like a tool that we have developed, so that the idea is it should be very easy and simple. So you should just be able to drag and drop, look at some robots moving around. And this is programming. Programming is actually very simple. People sometimes get very scared, and I see a lot of people actually dropping out saying, oh, I don't know mathematics, I don't know programming. But programming, you do programming every day. From morning to evening, your mind is always doing programming. So it's actually these three aspects. If you learn really well, then you can apply it to a lot of different domains. So let me just go over now that I have shown you these things. So it's just drag and drop. I mean, conceptual understanding is more important rather than knowing the specific syntax, right? Because the specific languages, specific syntax will keep changing over a period of time. But what it is that you have learned in terms of a concept, right, that will stay with you forever. So I see a lot of people making the mistake of just by-hearting the concepts rather than understanding the concept. So if they actually understand what it is, and if they look at what is the problem they are solving, first focus on the problem rather than how to solve, right? If they understand the problem well enough, then they can find 100 solutions. But if they are focusing on the solution, that one solution may not even solve the right problem. So this is something that I wanted to do. So they can kind of now build like an ultrasonic sensor and kind of move around and program it. I mean, program is actually very, very simple. So the other thing which I wanted to show was this thing. One second. Because you mentioned about the fields, right? So robotics will be used in various fields, so healthcare, entertainment, sports, military, education, and industrial training, right? So these are the fields. But more than like the fields, what I believe is very important is, if they become expert in one, but they also need to become interdisciplinary, because if they can go deep in one field, but they need to know a little bit of the other fields. So if they start doing that, then they can actually go into any domain, right? So they should probably focus on a domain rather than a technology, because they will say, oh, in the healthcare domain, I'll build lots of robots which cater to the healthcare domain, rather than trying to build a robot and trying to kind of fit it to different domains, because that becomes harder. If you build, like if you focus on particular domain, figure out what you're passionate about solving, and then go and use robotics technology to solve those problems. So that is one thing which I wanted.
Thank you, Harsha. One of the last question, and yes or no, very 30-second answer. A lot of students have asked, are some sort of knowledge repository available on HoloSuite, and how can they learn more from HoloSuite as a website?
Yes, yes. So one thing which I encourage everybody is that like I would love to have them just send an email if they're interested in knowing more. Like let me just share like my website information. So holosuit.com. So in fact, I mean uh, we are actually hiring a lot of interns. We have hired like even I am personally training a lot of people who are right from 8th grade to
And that's what my last question to you
yeah,
was. You want to take 4-5 interns from these set of
yeah,
people
most definitely, most definitely.
to
I am
work and
desperate
learn
for
from you.
interns. In fact, we just had our youngest intern who is actually in the third grade now. So we just hired an intern from third grade, yes. And he has already made a virtual Giza pyramid in AR. So we want to kind of like really get like I believe that like the next generation of students are so far ahead of us that I think it is much easier for me to kind of train and hire like the students rather than like the older generation, right? Because they are so, I mean, the passion is enormous. So I believe that everybody will be actually having huge opportunities in the future, but they just need to find the right mentors. Because if they can find the right mentors, then definitely I think a huge difference will be made in their life. Because the biggest challenge is how do you know what you don't know, right? So a mentor will kind of teach you the unknown unknowns, because known unknown somehow you can do, but if you don't even know where to get started, most of the people say I'm very interested in robotics but I don't know where to get started. So that is where, I mean, if you just, the first starting step is just send an email to me at info@holosuit.com, and I would be more than happy to look. And I mean, I can even show you some of the videos where I've taken these classes. I mean, let me just share
Yeah,
one quick thing.
one more minute. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that I want to
Some
kind of bring in the excitement.
interesting comments coming your way, Harsha. Students are writing they're taking the
Yes.
first flight out and coming to Mysore to meet you.
That would be my pleasure. So are you able to see like is my screen shared?
Yes.
So here, if you can see, we have made it also completely cloud enabled, so they can just use their computer and log in, or they can use their own mobile phone and log in. And these are all the kids. You can see how young they are, right? And I am teaching them over here. And if you see over here, so I am actually taking these classes to the students myself, and they are able to kind of go and do some interesting things where they now see a robot, they start like dragging around and understanding, and they'll get some rewards. So the idea here is like, I am very excited. I want to kind of be with the students. I want to actually learn from them. Actually, some of them are probably going to build robots which I never even thought of. So and there are so many possibilities. In fact, some of the things that we are actually looking forward to. So let me share with you one very quickly, one exciting thing, and then we can probably stop there. So one of the very interesting things that I am kind of really looking forward to is being able to kind of like do something that nobody has done before, right? As to how do we actually create extremely exciting kind of like technologies which have never been built before, and how do we do it in a manner that it excites a lot of people. So to do this, like we are actually looking at seeing, okay, can we actually have a spacesuit built here locally in India? Can we have like a robot which can actually go and go into the space and be completely controlled in the space? So these are the type of challenges that we really want to kind of look at. And so let me just quickly share you one of the videos of a completely new technology which we have developed. This is just out of the box, right? So let me just share this with you. This completely new technology which is kind of there. I think the students are the first ones to see it actually. So here, if you see what we have done is we have created a holographic projector. So you can see using the HoloSuite, we are actually able to control a complete holographic projection, and the teachers and students will be able to learn, because one of the problems with like the current set of things is that it is difficult for us to actually like share things, right? So this allows us to learn things in 3D and be able to kind of, for the teachers and the students, we are developing a lot of tools for the
Harsha, your
students.
screen is not visible. Harsha, your screen is not visible. If you could just show screen and
Oh,
then
okay.
we can't. Yeah.
Let me do it. Sorry. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, now.
Yes. So what we are showcasing here is like a completely new type of technology, where the idea here is how do we actually, because right now if you look at AR and VR and all, it is one person, right? One to one. They have to wear a headset or they have to hold a phone. But here we have, through HoloSuite and holography, we have created like a holographic projection in 3D now. So the teachers and anybody who wants to kind of teach, because it's not just about the students, we also want to make it very easy for teachers to be able to teach most advanced concepts in 3D. So this is a holographic projection screen, which is controlled by the HoloSuite, which allows anybody to teach most advanced techniques. Just by using the HoloSuite, they can actually control what is happening on the screen, control the robots, and even have some really fun activities using these type of technologies. And this will all be in 3D, right? So I think the students and teachers can have a lot of fun interacting this way.
Okay. How soon can we buy HoloSuite, Harsha, of the retail
Oh,
shelves?
if you want, yeah. So I'm all yours.
Thank you, Harsha. Thank you for your time on a Sunday morning. Thank you. We have a lot of
Thank
comments
you very
coming
much
out.
for,
Yeah. Thank you, Harsha.
yes,
Thank
yes.
you. Bye.